Actually, that's worse now.
You got that? It looks like you're about to perform. You're on a stage. There you go. Dude, I got to get one of those Amazon things that it's like it fits your phone and it's like, attached to the your phone and shit to your
Yeah, yeah.
cable.
I never used that.
Yeah, it's fire. But dude, this is the third fucking time we're doing this, and I'm so happy to have you on. To people who don't know, Mac is actually my business partner, the person who actually founded Momentum and a bunch of other companies that we're going to talk about. Um, so yeah, man. I mean, it's pretty surreal. Like, I remember, and I don't want to talk about this too much, man, but like, it's so crazy to me to think from when I was like, some bitch ass intern, like, like 2 years ago to now where it's like, you've given me the opportunity to earn equity in your company and momentum. Like it's pretty surreal. So
I don't think you were a bitch ass intern, dude. You're a really good intern. I mean, I've had over 100 interns, dude, and you've gotta be number one, like if not top three, you know?
top three, but I'm not one, but I'm top two. Goddamn.
Yeah, I mean that seems like forever ago. That was 2017 or 2018. I don't even know.
Yeah. That was wild, man. Yeah, I mean, I always harp on the story of me going into Irene Hurd, my advisor, her
Yeah.
office, and she's like this one like Russian lady. She's like, "Yo, you want to be in marketing? Here's this stack of papers for intern." I'm like, "Shit!" And she gives me a stack of pages like this, like 3 inches thick. I'm like, "Oh my god!" And then I found momentum, and I applied for the internship the summer at like the summer, not not the current one, but the one after. And you're like, "What the hell are you doing, Sean? Like, you don't want to apply for this year?" I'm like, "No, no, 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 no!" Like, I'm doing my own business and shit, but
I was like, what the fuck, dude? This kid's like an overachiever. Like, what's good with him? But
yeah, right.
I'm interested.
Yeah, right. Got you in the hook. Yeah, that's so funny.
And
But
that's crazy. She heard about me. I don't even know if I had any interns from Penn State at that point. Like maybe one or two, but I don't know. That's fucking crazy, man. And those Soviets, bro. They know. They know what's good.
I know, right? I have my one friend John, who I was with in Daytona. He's Russian, and it's a funny story about him. I don't know, like he probably doesn't want me to tell the story, but I'll tell it anyway.
Yeah.
His mom, he's actually adopted, right? So his
Okay.
mom used to be a prostitute in Russia, right? That's what that's the story's out, and
So
yeah, and it's just crazy to think that he's such a bright kid. Like he's one of the smartest guys I've ever known, and one of the best guys I've ever known in the world. And yeah, I mean, he's just dude. Russians think differently. Like they're just like in MMA, in business. Like they're just like I don't even know. Like I want to harness whatever they have over there. It's just a tough lifestyle, really. Like it's tough as shit. I don't know.
I think a lot of I'm mostly German, but I feel like a lot of Russians and Germans are kind of same in the way that they're very disciplined.
Right.
Not to say that I'm very disciplined, but I mean my dad is, and a lot of like 100% German people I know are very disciplined.
Yeah, I'm like I took my 23andMe a couple months ago, and I think I'm like I was gonna make that joke. Oh, I'm 100% that bitch. Fuck out of here. But it's what is it? I'm a third German, a third Irish, Polish, English. They're like there's a
Mutt,
schmantering of others.
pure mutt,
Yeah, I'm a big fat mutt. But
muddy.
yeah, dude, how about Maradona kicking the bucket today?
Bro, I had to. I mean, rest in peace. Like that dude's the goat. Like I think he. I'm a huge soccer fan. For anybody listening, like I've been playing since I was 4 and played in college and whatnot. Still play, even with my old bitch ass out there getting hurt every week. But I mean, Maradona's the GOAT because he was doing stuff way before anybody was even thinking about it. Like I had to just watch his video, a couple highlights earlier today, just to reminisce on like what I saw growing up. But dude's filthy. He's probably like 5'5", nasty left foot. He reminds me of Messi in so many ways, but it's crazy.
Yeah. And I know that you were playing soccer in college. Like, did you look up to him a lot when you were like first growing up? Like, or you wanted to be, because you have a pretty big build. You're like 6 foot, 6'1", but you're obviously a lean guy. So it's like, to looking down to those smaller guys, did you want to be like the Ronaldo type character? Like, did you idolize like one soccer player and you're like, oh my God, I want to be like this guy, like when I'm, being a professional?
The two people I really followed were Fernando Torres and Cristiano Ronaldo. So I kind of had a similar build to them. They're both like 6'1", 175. and really fast. They were known for their speed and their agility.
Hmm. Yeah, I mean, Ronaldo definitely fits that bill. I've always been a Messi fan, though, man. I've always been the Messi fan where, like, he's just like, he's not, I shouldn't say he's like, not that he's humble, but he's just, I don't know, like, he has that vibe to him where it's just, it's very peaceful. Like, Ronaldo's like all these Bugattis and Rolex watches and shit. And, oh, talk about his girl, bro. Oh my God. Fucking nuts. But,
Yeah, I mean, I mean, he's iconic. A lot of people think he's the best ever, but I'm a big Christie fan. So what do you know?
yeah, right. I mean, they both pull like a couple hundred mil every single year. So it's, I mean,
Stupid.
it's pretty, yeah, it's crazy. But, dude, so honestly, we're in COVID now. So with that said, we're still going through this crazy time. We deal, like, me and you deal with, especially, like, obviously you're more so on like the digital marketing side, um, with Momentum Digital, and I'm more so on the Momentum 360 side of the business. But it's like for both sides, they're still struggling. And I was even talking to this, guy who's a hotel owner in Texas, who I want to tell you about like a little later on. Could be a huge project for us. It sounds like we're in a business meeting right now. But it's like, I was thinking about this. If we didn't have momentum, if we didn't have, like, I had my podcast, you didn't have Phone Repair Philly, like, what would you want to invent in terms of a business model, or like any, like, whether it's like a product or something during COVID right now that you would like want to just explore?
Something I'd want to invent.
Yeah, like whether it's a business or like a product or something. Like, I was thinking
Okay.
about that.
Um, Honestly, dude, like Momentum 360 is a killer business to start during this time.
Yeah,
Like, that's really fucking
shameless plug. I know.
like anything virtual is becoming the norm. So like whether you're a real estate agent giving an in-person tour, like that shit got shut down for 2 months or whatever.
Mhm.
And why go back to that? I think it's the preliminary stage to people going to an in-person tour or a house showing. But a lot of people probably didn't realize the implications and the applications for virtual tours in general, whether it be a school or a church or whatever the case might be. Like people aren't going in places to places in person anymore. So I think it's probably like a standard soon enough.
Yeah, that's a good point. I mean, I kind of was obviously reminiscing before the show about this, and I can't really name anything that's not virtual. Like, you look at AR and VR, and they're going to be so prominent in 2020. Like, you have the Snapchat filters, but dude, pretty soon it's like going to be like a full-on Iron Man, where, like, you remember when he was like creating a new element, and what's his robot's name? I couldn't remember that. Jarvis or something. I don't fucking know.
I don't know.
So Jarvis is like, "Oh, Mr. Stark, you've created a new element." And Tony's like, he has all these like holograms out, and he's like building the Iron Man suit and like reinventing it. And it's like, dude, we're gonna have that like in 5 years, and people don't even realize it. Like, it's crazy. It's fucking nuts.
I can't, there's nothing else I'd rather be doing. Like the more I think about it, like there's nothing else I'd rather be doing. If I were to go back to school and like start day one, I don't know, like I didn't really understand the term entrepreneurship growing up. Like my dad's, I guess you'd call an entrepreneur, but he's really a small business owner. So I knew what a small business owner was and meant. And ultimately that sort of fit the mold with me, my personality and who I am. But more than anything, what I would say is, entrepreneurship, when I first got into learning about business, my dad wanted me to be an accountant and get something like strict and rigid that's always has a job and potential and people are always hiring for it and you could start your own business from it. I remember going in there and like having to sit down and like a shadowing this friend of my dad's and I was like 16. Bro, I was there like it was like I was there like 8 in the morning till 6 p.m. I was sleeping every chance I could get. Like when he'd leave the room, I'm like out sleeping. I didn't give a fuck what they were talking about. I was like, cool. Like I get numbers, you get spreadsheets. Like not for me. Not for me.
Yeah.
But if I were like, if I were to redo starting out in college, college is a sham. I mean, if you're listening to this bullshit, then you've like any of the stuff you've heard about going to college, it's all garbage. Unless you want to be like a doctor or a lawyer or a dentist or something you need an actual master's or a PhD. Like if you're just going to get a bachelor's degree in business and marketing, then you might as well throw it in and just go be a garbage man. Like I don't give a fuck what you're told. stop wasting your money on that. Like if my parents hadn't paid for most of my college and I didn't get a scholarship to play sports, bro, I'd probably just jump straight into making money or like take a different route with my life. So shout out to those who are, are fortunate or paying their way out of school, but I would advise against it. Everything you want to learn is online these days. Like, Udemy or Lynda or YouTube, Google, like figure it the fuck out.
Yeah, it's a good point too, because I know my best friend Chris, who he's going to be a PA, right, physician's assistant, and my stepbrother, who, fingers crossed and knock on wood. Where's some wood? There we go. Knock on wood. He's going to be working for NASA pretty soon. His girlfriend actually works with NASA in Cape Canaveral in Florida, where they do launches and stuff.
Uh-huh.
So it's so funny, man, because they are, obviously a traditional background. Like both of them love school. I hated school, but both of them are traditional in the sense where you need to be certified with medicine, right? With Chris, you need to be certified with engineering, like these fundamental, mathematics, physics, all these core fundamental principles that you need. But for entrepreneurship, it's like there's no set path. And that's where I got kind of confused, because I thought that there was a way in college to learn how to become an entrepreneur. Like I was seeking out these classes, like your minor, I think is what, in entrepreneurship
Yeah.
from Penn State. And I was like, oh my God, like I'm missing out. I'm not like taking these entrepreneurial courses. How do I be a better entrepreneur? And it dawned on me from watching like, just the Tony Robbins of the world and Gary V's of the world. And you, obviously, it's like, you just figure it the fuck out. You just do self-research. You proclaim yourself as, oh, I'm, a digital marketer. I'm, like you said, an accountant. I own my own accounting business, or whatever kind of, makes you happy at the end of the day that you can focus on. And I always like to say, it's that teeter-totter, right? Of doing what you love, but also doing what you're good at too. Like, and I think you can find a happy medium with those and just go from there and make a good living.
What annoys me is like entrepreneurship's so popular now because it's like such a buzzword, buzz term. Everybody has it in their Instagram bio. I literally took it out of my Instagram bio
No
because
way.
yeah, I took entrepreneur out of my Instagram bio because it just gets a bad rep these days. People are like, "Oh, are you unemployed? Like, do you even make money?" Like, people DMing me asking what I do, and it's just like, all right, I'm a businessman. I'm a consultant. Like, whatever you want to call me. If you want to talk about small business marketing, then I guess that's what I know more than anything. But I don't know, like the buzzword for entrepreneurship's given a bad name, and it's something true entrepreneurship can't be taught. That can't be taught. It can be acquired. It can be acquired skill, but like you've got to have the core principles as a human being if you want to go into it. Like you cannot be somebody that like sits back. You can't be somebody that's lazy. You can't be somebody who procrastinates. You need to be somebody that is a self-starter and able to learn on their own and is a quick learner, learns through failure. But I think more than anything, like what I've realized more and more that you'll probably see with these new age entrepreneurs is like, okay, who can make it through the real difficult times? Like when your back's against a wall, that's when like entrepreneurs are built. That like that's when people develop their character as an entrepreneur. And I think honestly that speaks volumes for me because that's the times that I've had my back against the wall, like getting fired from Google or like the agency almost imploding last year with all the bullshit going on, or the Blockchain World Conference whenever I took that on.
What a shit show that was.
Yeah, to like these things, that really defines you. And if you don't have thick skin, it's really tough to be an entrepreneur. Like you go through the good, the bad, the ugly.
Yeah. I probably should take entrepreneur out of my bio too. So I just get like less like you have all these girls, all these hot girls that just DM you. Oh, here's my link or whatever. It's like, I know you're some like middle-aged guy in India trying to like scrape together like 5 cents. If I click this link, it's like, get the fuck out of here, dude. Like, who are you trying to fool? You know what I mean? But yeah, it's nuts, man. It's a good point too, because, I think like entrepreneurs, true entrepreneurs, obviously you have that one set time in your life where you learn about yourself and you could build like these core principles that you were talking about. And something for me is, and I want you to share this too, is maybe it was when you were learning to be an accountant, but for me, it was bartending, man. It was bartending through and through. Like when I was in high school, I was like 16, 17 years old, man. going down there, and like I didn't know anything of bartending. I was like, all right, you get the keg, put it in there, and you pour the beer. That was it. I didn't know. I was like, oh, mixed drinks. What the fuck do I have to do? And my dad, dude, famous line from my dad. He goes, oh, fuck it. Like, just make conversation bullshit. Say you got to go take a piss and then just Google it. Just figure it out, right?
Yeah.
And that's what you have to do, man. I think that a lot of people there aren't, self-resourceful in the fact that they can't figure it out for themselves, and they'd rather pay someone to go do it for them. And that's the calling card of life is like, I'm always going to be on the attack, on the offensive, always trying to figure it out, always going crazy. I mean, and I love this stuff. I genuinely like figuring out problems. And I feel like, it's really up to your soul and your integrity to say, you know what, I think I can push through these hard times and really figure it out, because there's so many people, like I said, that just want to, push the easy button and get an agency or get someone, it could be their little brother, it could be their older brother, could be family member, could be someone else, some consultant that you were talking about that just goes and solves their fucking problems, dude.
You know what scares me? There's very few things that I guess like scare me when it comes to like business life.
Uh-huh.
But something that scares me is getting a job. That shit scares the hell out of me. Like, I've had 20 different jobs in my life. I'm unemployable, dude. Like, I feel like most entrepreneurs, they took skills or things they've learned at jobs and applied it to what they do, or like used a starting point of having a good job in a certain field or industry and like turned a business out of it. But like looking back, being an entrepreneur, like fully an entrepreneur with no other income for the past 6 years, I just couldn't imagine working for somebody else and having a job. It's a nightmare.
And it's the regret thing too, man. Like, you work 40 years, 40 hours a week for someone else's dream. And sure, you might be a millionaire at the end of it, but you're 70, you might have a family, and that $1,000,000 doesn't mean dick. And it's like, it's more about the money. It's more about the missed opportunities. You could have traveled. You could have watched the World Series. You could have, sat courtside and shook hands with LeBron or Kobe when he was still alive.
Yeah.
Fucking, it's those missed opportunities, man, because I don't care, how religious you are, what kind of religion you are into, in my opinion, it's like, who fucking knows what happens after this world? We're not guaranteed reincarnation. And if it is, who's just saying you're not going to be turned into like a fucking strawberry or something? You know what I mean? It's like, this life is so precious, and it's, you need to treat it as such. You need, we don't have time. We don't have time. You need to go, go, go.
2020 has been a weird year, man. Like it's been a rebuilding year for both businesses. You can never really expect what's going to happen. You can't really anticipate it, but I think it's like that saying, when the going gets tough, the tough get going. And, both companies were able to pivot right as COVID hit in many ways. And like bringing you on, you've been with us 3 years and now you're a partner. And with Phone Repair, bringing Jerry on as a partner, you got to be realistic with yourself. Like, I've worked 2020 is the year that I've worked the least hourly.
Good.
I like take time for myself. I hang out, go to the gym, travel, been to the beach. I've been home a couple times. I've been playing soccer, been hanging out with the girlfriend, like doing all that stuff. And even watched way more Netflix this year than previous year. Probably not as much as everybody else who does have a job or was furloughed or laid off or whatever. But
that's true.
But it's because I brought it, and yet I've worked the least of the past 5 years. I've worked the least this year, but I've made the most money.
Really?
Yeah.
That's something to think about. I think that, and that's how it's supposed to go, right? I think that when you're first starting out, sure, you have to be that one-man band. And then this is how, like, the podcast started, and then Momentum started, and a bunch of other, companies. This is just how really you become successful. Like, you need to lay the building blocks down and do the grunt work, put in those hours. And then as time goes on, my biggest thing still is to this day, is like trust, is like, I'm giving you a responsibility to not fuck something up. And I trust you for that. Like, if you fuck up, it's like, now I look like the moron because, I'm the one who like put you in charge of that initially. So it's like, it's reverse engineering to the fact of like, I need to be inside of your brain and like understand you it's like if you take a mushroom trip with the boys, like in Taiwan or something, it's like you guys are in sync. You understand exactly what's going on. And there's vulnerability, right? There's vulnerability of you like, oh, maybe I have a bad trip. I don't know. I'm
Yeah.
not talking from experience, by the way. I'm not talking from experience at all. I've never been to Taiwan. But with that said, you have to like really, I think it's just trust, man. And then building those blocks. Okay, we can hand some stuff to this person, hand it off to that person, and then you can just collect the rev, that comes in, and ultimately the profit. But it takes time to get there. Like it's finding these key pieces that we have right now, dude. It took so long to find.
Well, the thing with trust is very important. It's probably one of the most important things for a business partner. And even if you think you have it, sometimes you don't. But I actually like want you guys to fuck up because that's the biggest way you'll learn.
Yeah.
I don't have many examples I can give for momentum and fuck ups this year. Um, there's definitely things that I messed up. There's definitely things I messed up on in the past, like just having too much going on and not being able to like pay attention to what everybody else is doing, like quality control with our own team and our own marketing. Like I've been fixing Momentum's website the past 4 months
Yeah.
from what people fucked up from all of 2018 and 2019 because I hired somebody who I thought I knew what they were doing. And then I brought on other people who I thought knew what they were doing, even based off of like me showing them some things. But it's like, you can't watch everything all the time. And I want you guys to fuck up because you'll learn for it. And I mean, there's been examples with Phone Repair Philly where, you know, we shouldn't have gotten broken into a couple weeks ago,
Hmm.
or um, we shouldn't have been robbed like 2 months ago.
Yeah.
And those were fuck ups, like things that happened. Thank God for insurance, but the biggest learning lessons, like most entrepreneurs learn from failure, and that's a good way to get through it. And I failed a lot with momentum.
And although it's not like I hope I fail, I'm not afraid of it, right? I feel that most entrepreneurs, and most of the great ones, most of the ones in general, I feel like, there's never really a lingering fear of failure where, oh, if this goes wrong, because again, back to trust, you're trusting yourself. I can build this back up. If something goes, awry, I can, take the adequate steps to go in and put this back into place, perhaps better than ever. But I feel like it's those people that are always fearful of, like, again, what people say about them, opinions, judgment, to really freely express themselves. That's when, you can truly find your true potential. I feel like when you can just genuinely not give a fuck about what this person thinks. Um, and of your own judgment too, of like, oh, maybe I'm not good enough. Maybe you're not, but you need to test that. You need to press the gas pedal down. And, who said the quote, man, like fail early, fail often. It's so true. I mean, just to push. I don't like going past the point of like you push the pedal down and you're like 8,000 RPMs and you're like about to like risk a panic attack. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about genuinely challenging yourself to where you can truly see, okay, what's my potential? Literally, what is my potential? Because, think of it like as a workout, right? If you're doing like, let's just say, you're hungover, like a couple weekends ago, right? When I got back from, what was it, Daytona, dude, I was so gone. Like I was so tired, fatigued. And I hit a workout, right? Now it wasn't the best workout in the world, but it was like, okay, I want to see how far I can push myself. So I did a hit workout, right? And for those who have been living under a rock who don't know what a hit workout is, it's high intensity interval training, and you want to do a crazy amount of work in not that much time. So like 15 minutes, you want to be dripping, like pouring sweat, right? So I did that, man, and I was like, fuck, I felt a sense of accomplishment after I did that, because it's like, fuck, man, I hung over what? I did this, I accomplished it. And again, it's the same thing in business. It's, oh, you have 8 things to do, 8 really important things to do. And you're like, do you think I could maybe squeeze out of 1 or 2 of them just so I can like have time to breathe? It's like, no, like you're fine. Just continue. Like you're a healthy person. Just continue and you can do it. Like it baffles me where people just try to take the easy road out,
Well, I guess 2 things to say to that. The one thing I was thinking is, I forget what mentor of mine said it, and it's always good to have mentors and people that you can talk to and get advice from, but someone said entrepreneurship is really about uh, the ability to your threshold of being able to balance managing risk and opportunity. So obviously with bigger opportunities, there's more risk. And so those who are able to manage and balance the risk and opportunity at a higher threshold, those are the ones who are really successful.
Yeah, I like that point actually, because again, I'll talk about the one of our clients, PRA Health Sciences, right? This is an international shoot. Like, I didn't, when I first got it, I was like, oh, they want to shoot international. I didn't have any photographers. I didn't have anyone, man. The only thing I knew was, oh, Joe with that one person who's in England, right? And they're not even going to shoot in the UK. So it's like that was in the toilet. But again, it's like you have to, it's just interesting to see that threshold of like you said, like managing that, because if it's not, I mean, sure, I'm sure like scientists are like, oh, we can calculate this somewhere, but it's like genuinely, it's so interesting to me to see those cogs work in someone's mind, those brain synapses of, oh, like it's just interesting to see how people, because there's a million ways to skin a cat, in business, but like for something that's really important that like has the opportunity to be massive, like once we land, PCC in a couple months, that's going to be huge, because it's like that's another problem to solve, and it's like, oh my god, like we don't have it 100% figured out yet, but it's interesting to see. It's like we're going to do this, and we're going to figure it out, but we don't know how yet, but we know that we will. It's just like I like that. That's a really good point. I like that a lot.
It's also like the bigger the opportunity, the bigger the endeavor, the more capital and resources you'll need. So like I had somebody come to me, a client that we're still waiting payment from, go fucking figure based on this story. He came referred from another client we're doing a website project for, and on the Momentum Digital side for those listening.
Right.
And she was like, you got to talk to this guy. He's got a really big project. He needs like help with branding and a website and marketing, the whole 9 yards. And I was like, cool, let's talk to him. And he was like, oh yeah, so I'm trying to do a few things, in congruence out west for what's that festival?
Firefly, Coachella.
Coachella, for Coachella, because a lot of people stay out there in that desert, and they have to like rent Airbnbs and then travel, and it's a whole thing. And so he's trying to put together like a whole resort with like condominiums, like a water park, a dispensary, a grow up, all this stuff. Yeah. I was like, all right, awesome, sounds great, like really cool. Any idea how much that's going to cost you? He's like, yeah, probably like 50 over 50 million. And I was like, oh yeah, I'd say at least that. I was like, do you have any money raised, like any capital? And he's like, oh yeah, I've got a little bit, like over $1 million. And I was like, oh man, this can be a long road. But at the end of the day, for me, I'm like, he needs some place to get started. So whether I believe the guy can do it or not doesn't really matter to me, because as long as I get paid for doing the job that he wants me to do to get him started, I'm cool with that. And I think a lot of people, like whenever they take big risks and there's big opportunities, a lot of people have that mindset where I just had with him, like whether he can do it or not. And I think a lot of that is determined by, I think it's a combination of two things, is like, do you have the track record? Like, what have you done, bro? Mm-hmm. And then two, what are you made of? What can you make happen? And for him not to pay me still after like 30 days. I'm like, I don't think you've got either.
It's like, this is canceled. Fuck it.
So, I mean, a learning lesson for other marketing entrepreneurs is get a card on file, like get them to put a deposit down. Because I've had plenty of projects where I've started something up and started doing a lot of work. Lo and behold, they can't pay. The project's never paid for. And sometimes it's not even something I can take back. It's already given to them. So I've been burned on that a couple times. But after like 2 weeks and us just doing a bare minimum, I told some people in our team, hold up until we get payment because we're all kind of stuck here.
Yeah, you got to do what you can do right now. Yeah, yeah. I mean, and we know a bunch of clients too that are like, I don't want to name names, but you know exactly what I'm talking about. That they're ready to dive in. They're so ready to dive in. They're like, oh yeah, I need to scrape together a couple G's. You know what I mean? You know
Yeah.
exactly what I'm talking about. But they're like, oh fucking COVID. Trump isn't elected anymore. Biden's elected. It's like all this miscellaneous stuff. It's like, man, just invest. Like invest in yourself. Like I don't understand the problem here. Crazy.
I know. I was being transparent with this potential client call I had yesterday, who ended up signing. I don't even know when we'll get started because she basically signed and approved for like $900 a month this marketing package for SEO and whatnot.
Right.
And she was like, 900 a month, 6 months, $5,400. She's like, I don't have to pay it all up front, do I? And I was like, no, but you need to pay the monthly upfront. That way we get it paid, it's on file. She's like, okay, but I'm hoping that the money I pay for upfront this month, I make back so that I can afford to pay you next month. I'm like, no, it does not. It does not work like that. Like that means I have to be totally reliant on you not being a shithead of a business owner.
Yeah.
Like, what if you're selling fucking, spoiled carrots to fucking bunnies? Like nobody's gonna buy fucking spoiled carrots. God damn it. Like, I can't control your quality and your services. I can do a good job of getting people there, but like, I can't make these fucking bunnies eat these goddamn spoiled carrots.
Yeah. Yeah. It's like, I can't sell for you. Like, what do you want me to do?
I don't know. So if people are looking into getting into marketing, if like a lot of business owners expect immediate results, and it's just like, it doesn't happen that way. Like that's not, if you're talking Google and SEO, it just doesn't happen that way. If you're talking something more project oriented, like a website, okay, I can see I went from nothing to something, or a virtual tour, I had nothing and now I have something I can visualize. But for SEO, like it's the mythical beast that nobody can figure out.
Right. Right. That's so true. Yeah, man. I mean, it's a crazy time we're in, period. At just reflecting on it, on a daily basis now. Like I literally, while we're talking on my phone, I just got hit with like an emergency alert saying in PA, COVID-19 rates are rising and hospitals could soon be at capacity. Yeah. It's like, Jesus Christ. But yeah, I mean, I think if, you guys take one thing from this interview, it's really of just being resilient in unprecedented times. Because I don't know if I said this to you, but I definitely said this to, Luke and the two Lukes at our company and John. And I was like, I think financially we're in one of the, most opportunistic times truly in our lifetime, because if you can really invest in what you're doing right now, because this isn't going to end tomorrow, it's going to carry over to potentially next year. I know we're going to get vaccines out in like a month, thank God, but it's still going to be around, and there's still time to really take that step and take that invest, whether it's in real estate, whether it's in starting that business. You need to do it now, because I think look at some of the greatest companies in the world. They started from catastrophic events in the world. Market goes to shit. Just so many different events, man. I mean, and there's way too many companies that I could name off right now that have been started during a shit time, and that's just the truth of it. So you need to get out there. You need to definitely start that company or product or whatever. And the people that realize that, I don't need to tell them that. The people that are on the teeter-totter that need that motivation, like I once did or you once did, there you go. There's your fucking motivation. Stop listening to this and go do it.
My friend told me, he's like, COVID is perfect for realizing the difference between entrepreneurs and business owners.
Yeah.
Because business owners right now are folding and going out of business, like crying about COVID, waiting for the PPE and all this government money. The entrepreneurs are fucking pivoting, man. They're like changing their business around and doing all the things they should have been doing the past couple of years that they might not have had time for. They're finding new ways to make revenue or cut expenses, not just like sitting back and like cutting their wrists at night.
Yeah, and COVID, like, it kind of caught your hand in the cookie jar, where it's like, you should have been doing that. You shouldn't have been doing that. And then you can kind of, just really implement the stuff that you need to do, whether it's again, there's a million things. I don't want to talk about them on the show, but that you should be doing, whether it's, treating your local SEO like it's, the fucking holy grail, or all these things. I mean, I was looking up, the marketing trends for next year for 2021. And it's like, it's great. I mean, user generated content, having your clients give you like not only testimonials, but like actually like be playful around and just like act normal, like build that authenticity. That's something that's big. Obviously UX UI is always going to be there. Social media, SEO, you're going to have the core fundamentals for sure. But like
Yeah,
I said earlier, until we have those Tony Stark holograms and holographics that you're going to be able to, do whatever with, the core principles are always going to be there, and you need to, be present for that for sure.
that's true. I don't know. This year, I've done so much more sleeping and so much less networking. It's been a weird year, but it's allowed me to think more strategically too, as far as like what can I do to like make a big impact on my businesses. That's why you see us doing all this stuff with both websites, the SEO, backlinking, PR. What else are we doing? We're doing automations. We're doing processes,
You're doing
procedures,
everything, man. Yeah.
sales team. Like we're doing the shit. We're getting all this stuff done.
Yeah. And dude, I don't know if I told you this, but like what I do, on my nights, because I go to sleep, like I told you my schedule. Like I wake up like 5, 6 in the morning, go to sleep like, like I don't know, 10 or 11. When it's like 9:30, 10, where it's like, oh, I should almost like go to sleep now, or like pack everything in. I'm up like researching, like doing like literally market research to say, okay, like what could we be doing? What else could we be doing to implement? You know what I mean? Again, dude, there's so many things that we're doing right now. And again, I don't want to like keep plugging us, but I think a lot of businesses could take, because let's just call it for what it is. We have a great product. But it's the mindset of, okay, we need to pivot. We need to switch. We need to say, all right, what we're doing pre-COVID was working. Now we're getting pretty fucked. Like we're like the business is just not coming in, and the social presence, whether it's on social media or the digital presence with Google, and it's just not there. You need to find different ways and different avenues, truly. And I think that, with that being said, um, just being, again, transparent with who you are as a person, and I love what you said too about the whole business owner mentality and versus being an entrepreneur, because yeah, business owners, regardless if they're, you know like I know, like we have clients who are those business owners where they're panicking, don't know what's going to happen, and then you have the entrepreneur who is going to say, you know what, I can take this as an opportunity, like The Big Short, great movie. And I can really say, yeah, it's going to be different at the end of the day.
What's interesting is we all have similar amounts of resources based on the level that we're at, whether um, it's financial resources, human resources, time, whatever the case might be, education. um, and a lot of people were either like, I don't have, especially small business owners, when they talk to me about like the price and marketing and like what's involved, they're like, I don't have the time and I don't have the money. And it's like, well, you've got to give either one or the other.
Yeah.
If you don't have the time, then you need the money. If you don't have the money, then you need the time. If you don't have either, then see you later.
Yeah.
Like
What are we doing here? Yeah.
you're done.
Hmm.
So I mean, a lot of small business owners, I'm just very transparent in saying like, I'd love to take your money, but at the same time, like, I just don't think you're at the level where you need to be. Like, you still need to put in the groundwork. You still need to do the grassroots, you know, blue collar marketing stuff, like boots on the ground, getting the word out there.
Yeah.
I grinded for 2 years before people even knew about Momentum. Then I started getting more referrals and whatnot. And then I didn't know how to manage a bigger team because I had two companies I was running by myself and no managers. So
Yeah.
uh, lessons learned.
Yeah, for sure. And it's like anything, man. I mean, I know we have a lot of, I don't know. I mean, what percentage of clients do you think that we hire that are not necessarily like grassroots, but they're like, they need to still do their grassroots stuff that's like pretty much free, not necessarily free, but like they could just do on their own? It's a good, probably a good percentage.
I'd say at least 90%. I mean, we don't have any big, medium to big size clients. Like we've had some in
Yeah.
the past where, I mean, I'd say 70% of the time we're talking to the business owner entrepreneur, the head of the company.
Yeah.
Uh, they don't really have the budget, so it's tough.
It is tough for sure. But again, what we've been preaching this whole podcast is like do the work. Like do the grassroots stuff that literally is going to get you results, you know, and you got to put the time in if you really want to make this dream happen. It's not like you're going to snap your fingers, all the visualization woohoo bullshit you could do, you know, which I believe in visualization. It's very important. But it's like you got to do the work too. You got to visualize you doing the work and then you're actually doing it. That's the whole point. You know, if you just visualize and, oh my God, why don't I have $1 million? Where's my fucking private jet? Where's Grant Cardone with like all this money? It's like, it's not going to happen, man. You need to do the work.
Yeah, and we've done the work and we're doing the work. So
And you're damn right. And we're going to continue doing that work. So, dude, I really appreciate you being on. I think it's a fresh breath of air for young entrepreneurs out there who are really looking to just, you know, cut the bullshit, cut the fat, and really do what works. You know, and I think that we definitely covered a lot of ground during the podcast. So thanks for being on, bro.
everybody enjoy the ride. It's going to be a long one if you're an entrepreneur.
Absolutely. All right, man. Take it easy. I'll see you soon, brother.
All right, cool.
Bye.